You ever listen to a great guitar player and say to yourself, well, I'm absolutely terrible? See, there's a number of things most people don't even realize are holding them back. Here's what they are, and here's how you fix them. See, one of the big tip-offs that a guitarist hasn't got to that professional level is their lack of dynamics or change of volume within their performance. When everything you play is the same volume and attack, it sounds a bit flat. Let me show you an example. First, I'm going to play a short solo with no dynamic range, and then I'm going to play the same thing again, incorporating some variety here. Listen for the difference. The first pass wasn't bad, but the second time added a whole new layer of depth. And of course, there will be times when you're rocking out full force, whereas other times it makes sense to incorporate these dynamics. A great player wields this tool tastefully, the amateur doesn't even know it's in their toolbox. Now, an issue I've seen far too many guitarists dealing with is aimlessly spinning their wheels. They noodle around, play the same old stuff, try new things, but never stick with it. At some point, you gotta get on a path and see it through. And this is why I made the Samurai Guitar Dojo. Every week we do a lesson on a single topic, you go and work on it, come back, and next week we do the next step. If you have 15 to 30 minutes to work on this stuff 4 to 5 times a week, you're gonna see yourself breaking out of that rut real quick. We just finished a lesson on incorporating blue notes into a solo, and when you sign up, you gain access to the entire back catalog. You can start at the beginning, or you can join us next week where we're gonna talk about finger tricks with strumming. If you're one of the first 25 people to use the link in the description, you're not only gonna get in for half off, $7.50 a month, but you're also gonna get my Guide to Practice course absolutely free as a welcome gift. I'd love to see you there. Anyways, let's get back to it. Moving on, for the longest time, I approached technique and playing fast completely wrong. I take pieces of music, play them as fast as I possibly could, and just kind of hope that my body would figure it out and I would play them faster. It didn't work well, and I used to get extraordinarily frustrated. I know far too many guitar players do the same thing. Here's what you should be doing. First, you want to run a diagnostic check on your picking. Take a single note and play it as fast as you possibly can. And you want to figure out what's going on with your body. For me, I was tensing up and using my bicep and my elbow to move my hand as fast as I could. And it doesn't take long to reach the conclusion that this is not efficient or sustainable. You have to be able to relax to play fast for long periods of time. But with my old technique, if I loosened up, I lost all my speed. And through experimentation, I eventually realized that the bulk of my picking motion has got to come through my wrist. At this point, when you got the motion down, this is when the real work begins. You're gonna take the perfect technique for you and play things really, really slow, maintaining this ideal motion until it becomes natural. At this point, you slowly speed up while maintaining that new technique until you reach the threshold of your speed. You then play as fast as you can over and over, and your body slowly gets quicker at this. That's what I found to be the best way to get faster. I wish that I figured this out sooner. The first pedals that most guitarists get are the distortion and the wah, as these are the most common and distinct sounds for coloring a tone. It takes a while for guitarists to realize that it's actually two less obvious pedals that really make all the difference. EQ, this allows you to emphasize or lower different parts of the guitar's tonal spectrum. See, when you play a note on an instrument, there's not just one pure frequency that's coming out, there's a whole spectral range that's created. On my guitar, my tone knob can be used to accentuate this, but it's pretty one-dimensional. Brighter, darker, that's all the options you got. But with my EQ pedal, it's almost like having 10 tone knobs that allow me to adjust different parts of the spectrum. Like, take a listen here. All I'm gonna do is adjust this pedal and hear what a difference it can make. The next pedal that I absolutely swear by is a compressor. Here's a simple explanation. Say this is the range of volume that comes out of your guitar. Well, a compressor, you set a threshold, and then every volume above that threshold, the compressor, turns down. And then what you can do is you can turn everything up. And so now the difference between the quietest stuff and the loudest stuff is much smaller. Your signal is essentially compressed. Let me play you an uncompressed signal. And now I'm going to crank the compression way up, and here's what this sounds like. Now, I personally find the sweet spot to be kind of in the middle there. Take a listen. It's hard to explain the sound, it just sounds better. It sounds more under control. The day that I added a compressor and an EQ to my pedal board was the day that I started feeling good about my tone. Hey, I've seen you admiring my hoodie all video. It's brand new Sammy G merch available at shopsamuraiguitars.com. Picking some up. Great way to support the show. Most guitarists can probably get better at getting better. Inefficient practicing is such a killer. And different things work differently for different people, but there are some overarching concepts you can bring into your practice that are really going to help. First of all, you always want to outline your goals from the bigger goals to the little ones. Goals lead to direction, direction leads to improvement, improvement is motivating. For whatever you're working on, you always want to be bumping up against your threshold of competency. If it's too easy, it's not going to do anything for you. If it's too hard, it's just going to be discouraging. Find that threshold and slowly inch it forward. You want to make sure you're finding joy at every step and setting yourself up for success. If you're having fun, you're going to keep doing it, which means you're going to keep on getting better. You also want to make sure that you're incorporating whatever you're working on in as practical a way as possible. If I learn a new lick and I just play it by itself over and over again, there's no musical setting where I would ever do that. Whereas if I took a backing track and made a solo that incorporates that lick, well, that's a lot similar to the situation that I would use that in. And when I find myself in that situation, it's much more likely that that lick is going to come out naturally. Now, we're really just scratching the surface of what I consider one of the most important things for a musician, developing a healthy and productive way to practice. I've got a 14-video course on this very topic, and if you join the dojo using the link in the description, you're going to get that course completely free as a welcome gift. You ever feel like your brain's moving too slow? See, I know I'm playing my best when it feels like my brain is moving fast, like I'm in the Matrix and I'm one step ahead of the music. Here's a secret I've found to unlocking this, and it's something that a lot of musicians don't do. Play music outside of your normal genre, and it's all that much better if this music is fast. See, I've recently spent a lot of time playing bluegrass, something that I never played before, and I'll tell you, bluegrass can get pretty quick. And here's the surprising thing. When I go back and play the music that I normally play, blues and rock, instead of feeling out of shape, I feel like I'm way better at it. And here's my theory for what's going on. Learning a new genre is very healthy for the musical part of your brain. And challenging yourself to see music differently, you're creating a wealth of new pathways. And so when I go back to the other stuff, I'm not just coming back fresh and excited about it, I'm coming back with this whole new musical muscle that I've developed. And when you get out of your comfort zone, you'll find that your comfort zone feels that much more comfortable. And the last thing that I'll mention today is so many guitarists don't realize that they're underutilizing musical space or silence. And even in genres where you're playing a lot of notes, this concept still applies. See, sometimes not playing can be just as impactful as playing, and leaving openings in your music allows it to breathe and it allows space for other instruments to fit in. This is especially true when it comes to soloing. See, when I'm soloing, I'm trying to approach it as if I'm telling a story, and like a story, there are punctuations and phrases. Wind instruments like saxophones and trumpets are forced to take these natural breaks when they have to breathe. But for guitars, there's no physical limitation. We can just keep going on, and too often we default to a musical run-on sentence like this. But if I approach things like a sax player and stop playing when I would need to take a breath, it goes from sounding like musical diarrhea to just music, which is much more pleasant. A great way to start doing this is try singing what you're playing. And I'm not a great singer, but that's not really the point of it. See, in doing so, it forces me to take those breaks and leave that space. Beyond that, we all have a smartphone. Record yourself improvising and listen to how you naturally phrase things. But then do the same thing, but this time try to leave what feels like an uncomfortable amount of space. Listen back and you might be surprised at how good it actually sounds. And ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Those are a number of things that so many guitarists don't even realize are holding them back. And remember, if you use the link in the description to come join us at the Samurai Guitar Dojo, you're not only going to get in for half off, $7.50 per month, but you're also going to get my course, The Guide to Practice, absolutely free as a welcome gift. If you want to pick up some of that new Sammy G merch, you can find that at shopsamuraiguitarist.com. Thank you all for watching. Until next time, look after yourselves, look after each other, look after the planet. I'm Samurai Guitarist, and I'll see you again soon.